Hello, my name is Paul Gonzales. I'm the writer, editor, director of the movie you're about to watch, SCUM. That was actually just my voice, too.
I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool. And I would be the voice of Brandon Maldonado. That's what I'll be playing tonight. The voice of Brandon Maldonado, lead actor, executive producer. And
that's actually our company right there, Cinemachina Studios. I wanted to, because I created the opening titles also, and I kind of wanted to make it seem old and kind of the, I forgot what they're called, Korolko?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, the guys who made RoboCop.
Oh,
those guys.
yeah,
I kind of
yeah.
wanted to give it that kind of old 80s metal feel. These two guys are actually my nephews. I think we had written a different opening, or had we even written an opening?
You had the secret opening. I don't believe it was ever written, but it was planned. And I don't think it included kids, did it?
I don't think so. I just kind of had my nephews one day, and we ran out, and I had an idea for the scene, and we just kind of went out there and shot. And that's actually the Beagle sewer plant.
Right. That's just down the road from where I lived for a lot of years here when I lived here in Beagle. And you want to go ahead and introduce that gentleman right there?
Yeah, here we have a guy who actually showed up to the original casting call. That's Fernando Cisneros. He came up to the casting call. He thought we were making a mariachi movie, a mariachi style action movie.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's why he came up dressed in his like sparkly black shirt and stuff. And he was really, really slick.
That was before I was actually a part of the movie, I believe.
That's right. We'll talk about that later whenever we get to the slower parts.
Correct.
But yeah, so like Fernando, he came in and auditioned for. Actually, I auditioned everybody for like the main speaking parts, and Fernando, he really didn't fit any of those parts. But whenever I was thinking about this role, I was like, you know what? Let me call Fernando because he has such a.
You knew you wanted to use him for something.
Oh yeah,
right.
Definitely. He had just such I guess charisma. You know, he was just a really cool guy. Whenever he came in audition, he was joking and stuff. So I gave him a call and asked him if he wanted to play this part, and he said yes. And then we showed up to shoot, and we didn't have a costume for him. And there's Brandon right there.
Right. Was that the last thing we filmed?
No. Close though. Close. I'll show you the last thing we filmed.
Okay, but
you haven't even seen it yet.
That was of March of 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like what, a month ago, 2 months ago, something.
Almost. Yes.
Yeah. Well, So like Fernando, he didn't have a costume, so I ran to the Goodwill an hour before we were gonna shoot this and pieced together his little outfit. Borrowed a hard hat, and then of course we had our own lab coats that we had laying around.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the summary of the SCUM experience.
Pretty much.
Throwing together something an hour or less before filming and making it work.
Yeah. See, and if you like paid attention to that little like wobbly zoom blur thing, that was an accident that I kept in there just because I liked it. I don't know. I mean,
speak about that accident right there.
The thing that just bothers me so much that I did not shoot his feet. Like, I shot his legs walking, and I never shot his feet. And that's because we went back to reshoot some stuff at the same location, and I still forgot to reshoot his feet. Like, this audio right here is actually all from the reshoot. And there's a secret. He's not really whistling there either, but it's cool. And, like, the reason why we went to go reshoot is because for this cut right here, the lab wasn't impressive enough. And I liked the lab. I liked the way it looked like it was a fake movie set. You know? I mean, it's not. They actually had this lab thing there and all the beakers and all this stuff. So we just went ahead and dressed it up a little bit more for the reshoot and made it more, made it look more fake. And added this thing, of course, the moving scum.
The first special effect.
Yeah. And so that's why, like, we actually went to go reshoot that. And then here we go back to the original footage we shot. And then this was, I think, the actual way it's scripted as opening.
Right, I do remember that well, I don't know necessarily that it was in the script, but the plan was all along you wanted a plant worker to die, or multiple plant workers.
Yeah, because I think originally in the script we had a lot of deaths and all this stuff, but we just couldn't really pull together any extras or cast members. Because it was funny, because when we were making the movie, everybody wanted to be a part of it. And then we would try to get people involved, and they would never show up.
Right.
Or
it's funny when it's time to work,
Yeah.
there's a lot less volunteers. But by the way, I just want you to know that's I love when the title comes up. I think it's really awesome. Going to the red screen and the SCUM just popping out.
Yeah. I think it's awesome too. One of the main influences for this movie is actually Larry Cohen's The Stuff, which I'm a huge fan of. I saw it a long time ago. And then, like, these little color changes and stuff, it was just, I don't know, I'm the director, I'm the guy that shot it, and I just thought it was cool looking.
So why not?
Yeah, so why not?
I love how my name takes up the whole screen, even in widescreen.
And all these, like, close-up shots, he's not actually in his brown car that we see right here.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually in my own car.
Yeah, he's in his own car.
And it's not really Boston to Beagle, Texas.
Yeah, it's actually Victoria, Texas?
Victoria, Texas.
To Beagle,
yes.
Texas.
That was Thanksgiving of 2008, the day after Thanksgiving. I remember.
Was it really that long ago?
It was that long. We filmed it.
Oh well. What's today? What's the date today?
Today is May 16th.
May 16th, 2010, and we actually went into production. Our first day of shooting was,
I believe it was Labor Day. Probably the Sunday before Labor Day of 2007.
Yeah.
Whatever day that is. But, yeah. It's been a journey.
Yeah, it is. I didn't really know what to do for the opening titles. Well, I knew how I wanted them to look, but we really couldn't go out and get any music, or I guess we didn't really have money for the music because it was really low budget.
Well, I think one of your plans was to originally try to get maybe local bands to provide music for the movie, but I really don't think it matched the feel of the movie, being that I guess this movie could take place in the 80s if not for all the cell phones.
Yeah.
And I don't know that opening intro was really 80s music, but it definitely it takes you out of present day, I guess you would say.
See, and like originally, I think whenever I first got the idea for SCUM, I think I did want to make it an 80s movie. But then when you sit there and you figure it all out with the budget that we had, it was like so small that we didn't really know if we could do it or not. I mean, like, to have like cars,
to have everything the 80s, we would have had to make sure we didn't film any cars in the background, things of that nature. But
yeah, so I mean, to me, I was just like, you know what? Let's just get costumes that could be from the 80s that maybe people still wear now. I mean, like his vest, your vest here, I bought it a few months before we started shooting or something like that. Like, all the clothes that you wear are actually my clothes in real life that I had in my closet.
Which is probably why they're a little big on me. But I tried to bulk up and fill it out, but I don't think I succeeded.
So, and like the thing was, like with cell phones and everything, like I probably shouldn't have had the cell phones in there. But then again, like I don't know, it just wouldn't have made sense to me, to like not have it in the 80s. And have people not have cell phones, because everybody has a cell phone nowadays.
Right.
So it was interesting trying to come up with ways on how people couldn't get help with their cell phones.
Well, we find out that Bevo has the worst reception in the world.
Yeah, and whether that's true or not, I don't know. Maybe.
So we're at Sharp's house right now, which is the house you were living in at the time.
Yeah,
I guess later on in the filming, I guess you originally, when SCUM first started, you had an apartment. Then you moved into this house, correct?
Yeah, and me and my girlfriend, Tiffany Haskin, actually went and painted all these walls. We hung up all those picture frames that you saw earlier, and we lived here for a little over a year. And yeah, so this was actually our house, which was a real easy location to shoot at.
Right.
Actually, 'cause,
That's actually one of the reasons why I suggested it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it finally reached you because we had started to get into that point where people stopped really, I guess, volunteering their services, and so I suggested the idea that maybe filming at your house would be a really easy thing for us to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that proved to be so, especially with how many times we had to go back and shoot in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to introduce the mom?
Oh yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's a live commentary.
The mom, Leslie, I forgot her last name, but her name is Leslie, and she actually wasn't cast as the original mom. We had
Another lady.
We had two ladies actually. Remember, we had the actress that was down in Corpus from L.A. that we went and had a nice dinner at
a restaurant in Corpus.
Yeah, at a restaurant in Corpus. What's the restaurant called? Yeah. Oh, whenever we had the actress. Oh yeah.
That nice restaurant.
Yeah, we tried to woo her at the Macaroni Grill, which is actually kind of cool because we got the hookup from the manager there. I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. It's been so long ago. But like he hooked us all up and gave us all free meals and free wine, and it was actually pretty fun. Like we had the meeting with some people that were no longer associated with the production, but it was a lot of fun, and we talked to her, but she was only I think 30 or 32 at the time, and you were
I mean, I started filming this movie at 26.
So it wouldn't have really worked. So then the second girl we got, she was really good too, but I think she was also 32. But she was really excited about shooting the movie because she wanted to prove that she was an actress, and she was like, "Oh, I can play 40, I can play 50," and I was like, "Okay, well, hey, that's cool." Well, then we, I guess like the pre-production just lagged on a little too long, and then she disappeared.
we lost another actress or actor. That's actually in my parents' house, the house I grew up in, Beagle. That used to be my room when I was in high school, but it has now transitioned into my brother's room, who is also now in high school. And
this car that you see Sharp driving around in, we actually had a person in Beeville that owned that car. Her name is Cynthia, and anytime we needed to use the car, we could just call her up, and usually she would like a couple days of advance notice. But that rarely happened. Usually it was us calling her a few hours before we were ready to shoot, or us going to her work and asking her for the car. And yeah, I mean, but she was like really, really cool and really excited about her car being in the movie.
This is one of the more interesting scenes because we are in so many different locations. Just before, whenever I was getting the present out of the car, it was in front of your house. Yeah. Who knows? A year later. I'm not sure. The shot of me walking up to the house, I know that was in November of 2007. And if I'm not mistaken, this was in January of 2009. Well, the being on the floor, that is probably what?
Yeah, because this is a different house. This is our friend's house. Now, this is another house that I found that I wanted to shoot at. And this was probably in November, December, or... it could have been January of 2010. I'm not sure.
So far, I've counted 4 different locations: front of your house, Jill's actual house,
that's on the other side of the house.
the window room, and then that's Drew's house.
Yeah. So like 4 locations to shoot this section, and we're about to go to a 5th location.
Correct.
To shoot the other part of this, and like I didn't even know if it was really gonna work or not. I was just like, well, I'm the editor.
We still don't know if it really works.
It's true.
Hey, Jill. I was just in the neighborhood.
So you're at the same house here, and then we're at a different house here, and then we actually shoot you from behind looking up at this location. So.
Jill, I just came to
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like we didn't have a location scout or manager or anything. It was basically like me driving around trying to find places to shoot.
That looked interesting enough to use.
Yeah, and then usually the day we were gonna shoot, I would go to these people's houses and ask them if we could shoot there. And some of them were really cool, and like they actually let us.
maybe there was
So do you want to go ahead and discuss
thought about this
Kelly
a lot,
or
and
Jill's attire? That
Yeah.
is that is the lovely Kelly Kramers, by the way.
Yes, Kelly
Miss
Kramer.
Western Week,
That's the things that you
2007, I believe.
Yeah, so we actually put a local celebrity in the movie. There she is.
We did
Kelly
some
Kramers.
drawing power.
It probably would have worked if it was still in the,
Released on schedule.
yeah, but now she's off in college and doing all sorts of things. But originally her costume was supposed to be a prom dress, an 80s prom dress, something like out of 16 Candles or something. But I could not find one, and I accidentally bought one on eBay one time and never paid for it, and they never sent it to
Ooh,
me.
you have negative feedback now.
Probably. But
If you could,
also, like this was Kelly's first day of shooting.
yes,
Yeah, like I think I found Kelly like 3 weeks before we started shooting, because we also had another actress who was gonna play Kelly,
I
and
was gonna play Jill.
Jill, yeah. And then originally the movie, we were gonna shoot it during the summer, like sometime between the 3 months of summer, and that kind of fell to the wayside. So our actress, who was still in school, her parents didn't think that she could do the movie and be in school because she needed good grades to go to college or something like that. So then we ended up starting actual production without a Jill.
Right.
And we were just shooting all kinds of stuff.
We actually
around her.
did our main. I mean, it's the big shot, the theater. Everybody leaving the theater, which happens later. But we shot that without a Jill, and I mean, if we could go back to that night, we would definitely have a Jill at the time, and we made it work. But yeah, how you start production and film some key scenes without your second leading role?
Yeah.
I don't know how we did it, but we did.
And it's like, I guess I was also like the casting manager. So like we would just start shooting, and then we knew that, like we're gonna come up to this part in the script where we're gonna need a Jill. So like I would just be shooting and be working on it, and then all of a sudden before you know it, it's like, oh shit, we need somebody. We need somebody for this part. So then I would run out and look for somebody. That's actually how we found the mom also, because all of her stuff was shot pretty late in production. But that's just because we found her. And the weird thing is if we like would have had a mom cast already, we wouldn't have found this mom that's in the movie, and I think she's really great.
I have the same thing with
With
Jill.
with Jill. And actually the same thing with you too, because you
We're not the original. That's
yeah,
correct.
yeah. And like the only main characters that actually cast out of the casting call,
Just Hector and Mark.
yeah, Hector and Mark, BJ and Josh. They're the ones that were cast and actually stayed.
So if you could go back, would she be in that outfit? I mean, do you feel it still works? Does it capture?
No, I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's like wild enough, even though I found her costume a few hours before we actually shot this, and leave it to Beeville to actually have acid wash jeans at the Goodwill when I needed them. So I mean, like I bought her shirt and the acid wash jeans at the same time, and her hair. Tiffany did her hair, and I just kind of wanted something big and crazy and
Something out there?
yeah. And we're actually shooting this on a street that wasn't closed, in the front of these people's houses. Like we probably got there about 8 or 9, something like that.
Yes, it was.
So
I believe we did it all in one night.
yeah. All of this talking scene was one night, and it was basically like, I think it was calling Kelly like, hey, can you shoot tonight? We got to shoot this scene, and this scene has probably the most complaints.
It is the scene I dread every time we show it somewhere. Speaking of, this commentary takes place when we have only screened the actual movie, which we didn't even screen the final version once. We did a test screening I mean, I guess we did 2 test screenings. A very incomplete test screening and a semi, or very close to being complete test screening in San Antonio. So we still have never seen this with an audience, so I guess our perspectives could change.
And we're actually doing our premiere in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Cool.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So, but we want to sell DVDs at the premiere. So that's why we're doing the commentary. Try to give people a little extra, whenever they purchase the DVD.
But back to this scene. Like I said, it's the scene I dread because I sometimes I feel like it's either it's too long or it doesn't flow. I mean, we showed a version of this scene, a cut of this scene, an extended version.
That was 2 minutes longer than it actually is here. I edited it down from I don't know how long, like 8 minutes to 6 minutes or something, like maybe 5 minutes. I mean, 7 minutes to 5 minutes. I don't know. This scene is long. I apologize. And
have to get the word sign.
yeah. So then, like you saw, just a cut, and and then this we shot.
This is probably a year and a half
after we shot you guys talking, right?
That could be a year and a half to 2 years later, almost.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
I've been good, Sheriff. Is everything okay?
Got a call from your dad.
But
yeah, this is Tom Stockton, our sheriff.
who? Oh wow! I wish we could have used it more. But hey, if there's a sequel,
Yeah.
Tom will have work.
Yeah, definitely. Because he's from a few miles away, and we would call him on that day and ask him to come out. And he could usually shoot only on Sundays because he was always working. But he was always there, and he was always really cool. And he always had really funny stories to tell about his love life. And yeah, and then that was actually a reshoot because we shot it earlier.
I believe you did it a shoot during the day, hoping to convert it into a night scene.
Yeah, which is another one of those things that I didn't know if I could do it. I'm just gonna try it, and I failed.
Which was a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably 100 filmmakers. Let's hope we sell that many DVDs. 100 filmmakers critiquing you and probably criticizing you heavily on your shooting style. But I mean, one thing you've always done, which I can admire and appreciate, is why not try it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like a lot of the actors too. Like you guys came up with with lines and stuff like that wasn't in the script, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and shoot it. Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna cut it out.
Right.
So
we took a very non-film school approach to this movie.
Mostly because I never went to film school. I don't see, and everybody in this movie never really.
No one's a trained actor, and no one's. I mean, I admit that might be really clear, but I mean, no one was a sound guy. No one was trained to do light. Well, I guess perhaps Sundip, but
yeah. Sundip was the actual exception. He came on and
he was our expert.
Yeah, he came in to actually help us a lot, and he helped us in some scenes. But scenes like this, we show up at this huge house, and I'm like, well, how the hell do you shoot a house, and how do you like this? And so basically, it was just me sticking the lights where I couldn't get a harsh shadow, and I was like, there you go, it's awesome, let's shoot. But I mean, this was.
This is early on. This is maybe the 4th time with the camera actually out there shooting.
Yeah.
We might have done work, but I mean, actual shooting, yeah.
And we shot like all this.
This is
all this porch stuff. We shot it in 2 days, right?
Right. It was a Saturday night, which I had just worked probably a 10-hour shift. Showed up.
And then you had to drive an hour and a half to get here.
Yeah, and I totally dropped the bomb. I mean, I was awful. Me and Kelly had no chemistry at all. And
this is actually in front of my house again, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Probably 2 years later.
And this is us using poor man process to show people driving.
Yeah.
Where someone's just in the back rocking the vehicle.
But the sound effects sell it.
I think so.
Probably the way.
Here's something you haven't seen.
Oh, I have not seen this. Wow, this is awesome.
Look at this kid. Yeah, I felt like I needed a better transition from night to morning. So we actually got a local radio personality by the name of Big Dan to record it, and I also threw in a little plug for the band that I managed, Seed. So because it's like I always like kind of wanted to do one of those things, so I just went ahead and shot it all. And
I know you envisioned sprinklers turning on and
yeah. It's like whenever I originally had the idea, it was gonna be completely different, but time and I don't know.
I appreciate the I like it. I like the transition, the little.
It works better than what used to be there, which was nothing. It was a straight
right.
cut. So, and that handsome guy that's playing your dad is actually me. 2 actors played the dad, and the funny thing is we actually had an actor cast as the dad, who I guess we had a falling out with. So we never actually found a dad. So whenever it got time to shoot the dad stuff, I'm like, well, screw it. I'll read the lines, just won't show me, And I don't know if it's weird or not that like you never actually see the dad till the end, but I don't know.
It leaves a little mystery to the viewers. But going back to that transition, it actually shows that the movie takes place during Christmas. I mean, I know we have the Christmas tree lit up and we have some Christmas lights. We never, it's in the background, but I think it's just more of showing Beeville. I think it's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. Beeville rocks, so why not show it?
Yeah. And all the stuff that has Leslie, aka the mom, in it, was shot in one day.
Super Bowl Sunday 2009.
Yeah. And like we shot all of her stuff, like all in one day. This is around noontime whenever she came in.
Oh man, look at that. That's my best acting.
And this was shot later, like a few months ago, actually. Here's your. Oh no, this isn't your look yet.
I don't like scrambled. I mean, I don't like eggs. Period. So.
Which I didn't know until I guess afterwards.
But you take one for the team, but
so like all of Leslie's stuff we shot. It might have been, it wasn't our longest shoot, but it was her first time to ever act in a movie.
Right.
We stuck her in front of the camera for like 8 hours or something. And then right after we shot all of this kitchen stuff, the sun was going down. So I was like, well, you know what? You want to shoot the other half instead of coming back? Because originally when we were going to shoot it, it was going to take 2 days to shoot the stuff. And the day that we're first shooting, I was in jail.
Right.
So
I remember
you guys
showing up that.
Yeah, you guys actually showed up to the house and no one was there because we were in jail.
This gets it got a good laugh, and I think it's kind of when we won the audience over.
Look,
everybody.
Look. Here's your look, dude. It's so awesome.
I'm trying to sell the scene with just my eyes.
Yeah, and, so I was in jail for something stupid that I'm still having to pay for now, but so whenever we actually got Leslie again, like we only shot her in the movie 2 days.
I believe actually we had shot her one time before.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure.
That's whenever she was running and
it may have been
woods.
15 seconds, maybe 10 seconds of, probably less. And I remember it rained that day, so I mean, if there was anything that could hinder the movie, it happened. Bad weather, cloudy weather.
Man. See, because like we shot this movie, like our whole production schedule was shooting on weekends, which were usually just Saturdays and Sundays, whenever you could come down.
Right.
And then all of our other actors were in school, and I actually made those labels.
Simple shine.
Yeah.
Because the shine should be simple.
Which I wish we would have showed more too. The actual shampoo name for the.
It's a movie about killer shampoo. And
yeah.
I don't know why. That's one of my favorite things. Me coming around that wall. I always love it. I always feel like it's what makes Scum a real movie. I don't know why. Maybe I just.
And here's something else we shot late.
Oh yeah, this is also.
Look at your pants. They look different.
Oh. Oh man.
Damn, I forgot what I was talking about.
We were talking about the simple shine and.
The reason it looks bright is because the brightness is up. But don't worry about it.
You hear that, people?
Yeah. So here we have Josh Cantu as Mark. He was one of the actors that came to the casting call.
This is actually first day of shooting. For me, anyways. This is the second first day of shooting.
Is it?
Yes, because I believe that...
Oh, we did all this stuff in one day, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is not first day. Just the me hitting him. That was first day. That's actually the first thing I did was I met Josh. 15 minutes later, I'm running him down in my car and yelling at him on the street.
Yeah.
So that was Josh pre-tattoo.
Yeah.
You will catch Josh post-tattoo a few times.
And actually, we got the cops called on us this day,
Oh, yeah,
too.
that was...
Yeah, because, like, supposedly down the street, there was a string of burglaries, and they thought we were burglars.
Yeah,
so they actually
because we
called
wanted
the
to
cops
film
on us.
ourselves and
Yeah.
have the evidence. But,
this is, again...
back to first day of
Yeah,
shooting.
back to the second first day.
Right, second first day.
We actually went into production with a different actor as the main part. And then he had, I guess, prior...
It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Certain things, I mean...
Yeah, so then, like, we went ahead and paused production after that first day, went back, and, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it sometime.
I can remember that call. Asking you how it went, and you sounded suicidal.
It was not a good day for me, let me tell you.
I just remember you talking about how bad it was, and then the rain came. This is exactly how you... And then the rain came.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because I remember that day I was actually skiing on Lake Corpus Christi in thunderstorm. So I thought to myself, wow, I better call Paul and see how filming went, see how much he got done. Talked to suicidal Paul, then thought, hey, maybe I should go over to his apartment and have a talk with him. And it's kind of where we decided that perhaps it'd be best if we went a different direction with the lead. And
then since we had made short films together, I was like, yeah, like... I mean, it's like, I don't know if this actually makes sense. Oh, that was actually our buddy Snowman that got hit. But I mean, to me, it was like, in order to make a movie like look more expensive than it really is, like you have to have good-looking people. And I'm not hitting on you or anything, but you're a pretty good-looking dude. And to me,
I still don't know about that, but
and
look
then,
at my nose. It's just like I'm gonna chop it off one day.
And then, like, to me, it's like Kelly was a good-looking girl, so it's like right then and there you have two, you have a...
We became the faces of SCUM. And
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I don't know, I never went to film school, so I don't really know, but I know that a lot of independent movies that I do see where they have, like, I don't know, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm probably going to get shit for it later, but whenever you see, like, plump people playing the lead roles, like... I don't know.
Well,
I mean, unless you're supposed to be like the plump loser, or the girl that doesn't get any dates or something,
I think what you're trying to say is it takes you out of the feel of a real movie, I guess, because you know how Hollywood is, and when you're making a small, low-budget, independent film, there's certain things you don't want to do because you're already going to get criticized. You don't want it to look straight to DVD.
Yeah.
I mean, we love bashing other people's films. I don't know if we do it because we feel like we're elitist or
there's our Stephen King reference.
There you go. But there's certain things you don't want to do, and I think that's one of the things that takes you out of the feel of it's a real movie.
Oh, and this is also Amaris. We put her in the movie. She's not the original person that was cast as Jill's sister Cameron. But we'll get to that later. And it actually turns out that Amaris is my cousin. Oh. I had no idea. And here we are at Dairy Mart. That is now called... Oh, yeah. Was that the first time?
I believe so. Oh, it's called Burger Depot now. So we want to give a shout out to them.
Yeah.
For continuing to let us go back to Dairy Mart.
Yeah, because it was... Depot. I mean, we had to go back and shoot some stuff that we had missed. But at that time, like, everything had already changed. But we just used our parking lot, so everything was cool.
And
here we have BJ Styles.
Making his second appearance in the movie, but his first clear one.
Yes, he played the attacking plant worker, I guess, at the beginning. Only because BJ was there on set, I think, almost every single day that we were going to shoot. Even if we didn't shoot, BJ. He would show up and he would wait to see what was going on.
He wanted to help,
Yeah.
So. I mean...
like I was saying earlier, like, our shooting schedule was only on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, and we got rained out so many of those days. You know, I mean, it was not good, and I mean, like the weather was really really against us in this movie. I mean, but like that's kind of what you have to do because we weren't shooting in studios or on sets. You know, we were actually out there.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of this scene is actually our practice takes, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Huh. Because
Oh,
that's
and,
something we had to go back and redo because
Yeah.
certain it's heavily mixed with 2 different versions of the footage, 2 different days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And I actually designed those Dairy Mart shirts, by the way.
I've never seen this with Christmas music playing. I guess is that just you banging on a keyboard?
No, it's actually some music that I bought. And there's me with tartar sauce,
Oh, that's disgusting.
which is actually the SCUM. SCUM in this movie is made of, like it's made of a bunch of different stuff. Like in one scene we have cottage cheese.
Disgusting.
In one scene we have Cool Whip. Another scene we have old moldy melted ice cream.
Yes.
And then in that scene we have tartar sauce. Basically anything that was white and gross looking we would use as SCUM. And this we actually had to reshoot because we had a police car.
But we had it for 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
10 minutes. We had the police car for 10 minutes. So we rushed through the scene. We shot it as fast as we could. And whenever I was editing it, it just
I think it was
just
the
wasn't
sound.
good.
I think
The sound too. Yeah. And there's Tiffany Haskin playing the dispatcher.
Which, man, if she had that accent the whole movie, it would have been awesome.
Stop now. If I hear from you again, I'm taking you in.
Look at that. Look at that man.
So we actually shot the sheriff 4 times. Yeah, we shot him 4 times. 2 times here at Dairy Mart. The first time, then the reshoot, and then we shot him on the road during the day, and then we went back and reshot his stuff again at night. And that's pretty much all we see him in the script. We actually see him die, and he has a deputy, also.
Fence, right?
Yeah,
Or
Fence.
do we not want to throw that name out there? Copyrighted.
But it's like we never actually found a deputy, and
Sequel, man, I'm telling you.
yeah, and then like throughout us like running around and shooting this thing so quick and on the fly, a lot of stuff in the script changed. Some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't, but I think it comes together anyways. You
Well,
know?
I mean, the type of film SCUM is, it serves. I mean, the flaws that are in it, it doesn't hinder it.
No.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I mean like I don't think we ever mentioned it that this is a movie. It's not a film.
it's not a film. We didn't make a film. We're
It's a movie.
not filmmakers. That could happen one day, but we just wanted to make a movie. We wanted something entertaining, and I still. The scene
And there's
still
Tiffany
cracks me up.
Haskin right there. This was actually they were never together in this entire scene.
Oh, that's right. Because when we used to have a cut where the arm reaches out, it was my arm.
Yeah. So like we shot at this house 2 days, and we shot Jill's part one day, and then Tiffany's part the next day. I mean no, like 6 months later.
Correct.
We shot Tiffany's stuff, where Tiffany plays Stacy, Mark's wife, actually. And in the original script, they had a child, so we also had a baby in the movie too. Which is like the thing about like writing SCUM is, I had written a couple of scripts, but then this was something I wanted to write to shoot, so I kind of went balls out. And then once it was all said and done,
You had to be reeled back in.
yeah.
Could you imagine the horror of actually having, even if it was a doll, just having the baby in there? So
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the baby. No, the baby survived because I didn't want to kill the baby. I think in the original script.
I could see how the movie ends with Jill and Sharp walking down the streets covered in blood, holding a baby. Somehow we adopted a child. But yeah, so I mean, it was one of the good things that we lost. I mean, I'm sure we could fill the whole commentary with things we would change.
Yeah.
As far as what would be a better idea to have done, I mean, I know probably a smaller cast, things of that nature. Scenes where we didn't need as many people, but you know.
Yeah, because I mean,
but a baby.
I mean, like there is actually a pretty big cast in this movie that didn't get paid for their work. You know, basically they'll get, you know, some sort of compensation at the end. You know,
depending on the success of the film.
Yeah. So tell your friends to buy the movie.
Yeah. Feed our actors.
And also, like, all of the pictures that are in this movie, like the close-ups of the pictures, were all taken by my buddy Albert. ARCphotos.com. Check it out. He actually went, and we would just show up at his house, and he'd take all these pictures, and we would use them in the movie, because I always thought it was funny in movies when whenever they show candid pictures, they're like these really professional-looking pictures. So I had to make sure to get him to shoot these pictures.
So you could have professional-looking pictures?
Yeah, because then again, it just adds that little bit of movie realism, you know? Like
the fakeness of movies and making them real. But and he also he took the photos that we use for any promotional work. Mm-hmm. The poster, banner, DVD cover.
Oh, and then in the background we have our buddy Dave, who shot for 2 days. This was his first day there. We found him through another buddy, Randy,
who we met the day we were downtown shooting in front of the theater.
Yeah, and Randy was really cool. He wanted to get bloody. He wanted to get messy, and
he had an interesting look.
Yeah.
Above all else, he had an interesting look.
So then he came up to us and said, "Hey, if you ever need anything, I have a buddy named Dave who's really interested in it." So we had this part, and we're like, "Well, let's call Randy. Let's see if Dave wants to do it." And I think we're going to shoot it some other time, and we had to call him and cancel it. And then, like, a couple of weeks later, we just called him on the fly, asked him if he could do it.
I think his scenes, too, are... Man, it's perhaps... Let's see, that's summer of 2008. We might have been not until January of 2010 that we filmed the rest of his stuff. So, I mean, there's a huge departure. I mean, a huge gap in time between his scenes.
And then the house that we're using, this guy named Dale Morris. I saw this house. I wanted to shoot it. So I just walked up to his door, knocked on his door, asked him if we could use his house to shoot in. And he was like, yeah, sure. You know, like, when do you want to use it? And I gave him a date. And he's like, yeah, you know, here's the keys. Have fun. And I had basically known that guy for like 10 minutes. And I don't know. Maybe he saw the good in what we were doing. I don't know. But we actually shot 2 days in this house. No. 2 days or 3 days?
2 or 3 days. We had to go back a few times, so maybe a total of 5. But the times we went back, we weren't there long.
Yeah.
This scene, I can remember being, you know, just I don't know. I know Kelly said it too, that as we were sitting there, shooting the scene, you know, it's like when we kind of felt that the movie was real. You know, it had one of those smiles appear on my face that you couldn't control. I knew I shouldn't have smiled at the time, but. It's when the movie felt real.
Yeah.
This is kind of where we give the explanation of the whole film and where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And so BJ definitely delivered.
And then in this scene, Tiffany and Mark. Well, I'm gonna start using character names. Stacy and Mark. They're not even in this scene, really.
Right. It's only me, BJ, and Kelly filming that day. With the lawnmower man outside. So if you hear a rowdy lawnmower outside, it's one of those other things that. Tried to hinder the production of SCUM.
Just our luck, yeah. And then we went back and we shot Stacy and Mark on the other side, and then
later on it's going to come up where when we run out of the house, we show everybody's feet, except for
Kelly's.
Yeah, Jill's not there. But when I've showed it to people, I asked them later on, you know.
Okay,
like,
here's the last scene that was shot in the movie.
Nice.
Because people had so many questions, like, what happened? You know, like, why is he not there? Or like, why are the boards creaking and stuff? Okay, you see here we have Jill and no Stacy. And everyone runs off. And now we have Stacy and no Jill. But nobody really seemed to catch that. So. No. See, and now you can see Mark's tattoo that comes and goes along with his necklace. Mark was interesting to shoot because I think he was the one that showed up the least, I think, and I actually don't know if he ever showed up on time for any of the shoots. Where he's like the complete opposite of BJ. BJ was always early, always on time, always ready to work. There's our first tentacle shot. And BJ would like call me like, "Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are you doing?" And we would have to call Josh constantly and find out where he was. And I'll be there in 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Because an hour and a half later, and then hey, I'm on my way. I'm like, okay. So actually, Mark isn't in some scenes that he should be in for the simple fact that he didn't show up on time, and we were just shooting. Like, well, you know what? We'll explain that later, and let's just keep going. Call Mark. Tell him we don't need him. So.
Zombie Vision.
Yeah.
This is filmed, like I said, once again, a year and a half separate from Jill running into the house.
Yeah. And we have Dave again wearing a different shirt. Because we actually shot Dave's stuff I don't know how long apart.
I believe a year and a half.
Yeah. And then I came up with Zombie Vision just to kind of, I don't know. I just kind of liked it. And there's our awesome special effects shots right there.
Look at that hamburger meat, son.
done actually by yours truly.
I have not seen that yet. That was pretty cool.
What happens when we find your dad?
And all the pauses and stuff is just something that I just wanted to do. I thought it was cool.
It's something extra just to give the film a different feel. I'm sorry, I just called it a film.
How dare you? And then right here, Jill isn't in the car. Jill is being played by Tiffany. And check out little man's hair. you got like one of those Chinese fans, for bangs or something. But yeah, like you'll see Jill sitting next to
Man,
Sharp.
look at that. Look at that. It's almost touching the top of that car.
Oh, and one thing about this movie is like I've never shot a movie before. I've shot like short films. Oh, you see that shoulder right there? That's actually Tiffany wearing Jill's clothes. But yeah, I mean, like one thing about shooting this movie is whenever we first started, you remember how many angles we were shooting?
Right, and then
you're just like it was just like going nuts on all these angles because to me I was like afraid that I wasn't getting the coverage that I needed to be getting, because like I said, I'd never made a movie before. I'd seen lots of movies, but yeah, and then eventually towards the end, we would just do like a couple angles, do a couple takes.
Well, I mean, it's in the initial stages of filming. I don't know how early along you knew you were gonna use scratches on the film. I think as we went along, we learned the feel of the film. The film of the feel of the movie lends itself to simplicity.
Yeah.
And once again, we had a baby, and just keep it simple. We'll get rid of the baby,
Yeah.
Things of that nature.
And this is me actually laying on the hood of the car. And then I almost got run over, because whoever was driving slammed on the brakes. And then, while I was trying to get off, so I kind of ran, and then they came forward. And
You saying I did that?
I think so.
I don't remember that.
I do. I remember being scared for my life.
Wow.
But anyways, here we are back to the house without Christmas lights on the outside.
Right. This is another one of those things. We haven't mentioned it before, but a lot of Jill's stuff was done in 1 week. The week before she went to college.
I would say about
Look how sweaty I am there.
I would say about 75 to 80% of her stuff was all done in 1 week. And we even shot stuff that was supposed to be in the movie with only her side, and that we never used because the script changed. And
right, while we have a chance, let's talk about Drew's music.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think there's 3 phases of the film. There's the directorial, choosing what gets, the editing, thing like that. There's the acting, which is the stuff that happens in front of the camera. And there's the music, and man, I really really appreciate Drew's work.
The cool thing about Andrew is I edited this movie on a Mac Mini, which means I could not throw the entire movie down and edit it as one entire movie. I had to edit it by scenes. So what I would do is I would edit a scene, burn a QuickTime file, go over to Andrew's house, and we'd sit there for a few hours working on the music. And it was cool because I could sit there and just say you know what, I need this to feel like
creepy.
Yeah, creepy, and he needs to feel a little more sympathetic, or like whatever. Like I would just tell him how it needs to feel, and then he would like hit on it like really really quick. And
I actually got to sit down once and watch him create, and it was
it was cool because he's a really talented musician, and it just so happened that we've known him since kindergarten, so it was cool. He's also a guitarist in the band Seed. Oh, and here we have our cat Rambo.
making a very dramatic appearance.
That was not an easy shot to do.
No.
But and actually we came up with this scene the day we were shooting this because we just
to add
needed
more.
something else. Yeah.
And here we go. So, do you want to talk about filming action scenes? I can imagine it. It seems like it's pretty hard to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, just look. I didn't do that good of a job, but
I wasn't gonna say that, but
but this is like basically like my first ever fight scene to shoot.
and I look
you
at the
know?
camera. Yeah.
And that was me jumping out of the window, but it was open. And see, like I used a lot of stuff, like the fact that it was so bright outside that you couldn't actually see a window. So I just opened the window and there's like nothing there, and just sold it on sound effects.
So this is later in the day of Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. So, cause yeah, like the mom is every time it's in the house, it was all one day. So, and I think Mark actually showed up late on this scene too. I think. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And he has a tattoo.
And Jill is nowhere to be found. Once again, we're filming a scene separate from Jill.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And then we cut to what, a year before? Oh, well, not here, but or
What do you?
I don't know. Like whenever we have Jill.
Oh
Like,
no. After I leave her in the car, me and BJ run back to the car. After I leave her with my mom's car. You're talking about when me and BJ run to
I'll be waiting.
Oh yeah.
Sharp's car? That's probably a year to a year and a half
And
later.
the car is empty there, actually.
Which I think someone pointed that out at the San Antonio screening.
Yeah. But hell, we're making a movie. It's supposed to be fun.
It was fun.
In retrospect, maybe?
I think we all lost a little bit of our soul.
Yeah. Here we have the Beagle Courthouse.
Which wasn't originally in the movie.
No,
It's
this
not even
was-
in the script.
No, we just made this up and went and did it.
Which I'm really glad we put that in there. It's like growing up in Beeville. When I'm away from Beeville, if I'm thinking of Beeville, usually I do think of the courthouse. And
That's actually the stuffed tanker truck back there. Not one from the movie or anything, but I needed to pay homage. And so far I don't know anybody that's
the
actually
jet.
noticed that. But yeah, that is a tanker truck inspired by the stuff. It has the stuff logo on it. Hopefully they won't sue us. I don't know. But yeah, that was I guess my first attempt at a major special effects shot. Done almost completely in Photoshop.
I don't think it's bad that it's in the movie. Let's speak on this a little bit. It kind of jumps.
Yeah. I had no way to explain what really happened.
I still think
I don't know.
you should put a scene missing thing in there.
Just to let people be confused. I think it'll be okay.
Maybe we should put a 5 minutes later.
And like this scene was
We're shooting behind the shopping center.
Yeah.
And that's
And
This is October 27th of 2007.
And the scene before was what, 2009?
Yeah, probably 2 years later.
Yeah.
This is probably the longest night of shooting, or the longest day.
13 hours?
It was long. It was I had a long day. It's another day where I worked early, drove into Beeville.
And it was actually cold out
It was
here this
very cold.
night. Yeah.
That's not acting right there, folks.
And we had a bunch of people there too
Yeah, it was still early on in the film, so we had a lot of extra people show up.
to sit around and drink beer and eat pizza and watch. But I mean, we did have a little bit of help. We had Kukui Effects there that actually helped
We need to make sure to credit ourselves as part of Kukui Effects, by the way. But luckily we had a lot of cars there because that became the lights. I think we had a generator out there for a while, but
Yeah, it like crapped out on us because like originally I just wanted to shoot it using headlights, and I'm like, well, why can't I do that? And somebody told me that it was gonna be a bad idea, and I was like, oh well, okay. And then like I think right before this, our generator crapped out,
and we
So-
shot with just headlights.
yeah.
And you'll hear how cold it is because I hate how I deliver this line or the conversation on the phone. I'm cold. It's just really bad.
Joe, can you hear me?
Bad reception.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I lost the signal.
Oh man.
We actually had people like in cars with the heater on,
Yeah.
and I think I actually got sick after this because I was out there in just a Hanes t-shirt and jeans.
I used to have a black jacket, a very generic black jacket, and I haven't seen it since that night.
Yeah, probably.
It might have wound up in someone else's closet.
The wolves got it.
So this scene,
Actually, I found this scene. I found this location one day, and I was like, well, you know what? Well, this scene is going to take place there. And then the day we were going to shoot, we all just caravanned out there, and we just parked all of our cars on the side of the road, and I set up the shot how like I wanted it, and we just started shooting out there with no permission in the middle of nowhere. And we actually had people that would like drive through here, and they would stop and ask us what we're doing, and
apparently they were cool enough about it to let us continue.
yeah.
Now, how many times did we actually film this part of this scene? Were we out there 3 times?
Twice.
Twice? Okay.
Twice, yeah.
We had to do a lot more of her part of the scene.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we had her out there sitting in the car for a few hours in the cold, and then we didn't get to shoot all of her stuff or something. I don't really remember. It was so long ago. And that's actually my brother laying on the hood of the car. I don't know if you could see him or not.
And
like, we never really explained. Okay.
my brother Derek. And me in the background somewhere.
Yeah. And there's Bree. She came out for the day and actually got grounded for being out there past her curfew.
SCUM. Doing its work.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Forgot what I was going to say.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so... Okay, and...
we're going to talk about the SCUM versus Blood.
Oh,
zombies.
yeah. Well, I'll do it after this. Cause...
The introduction of our star. The most popular character from the movie.
And now we're cut to shooting in my backyard.
The heroes, huh?
And back to the location.
At ease,
Back to the
soldier.
location.
The name's Smith.
Now, we had an
John
actor,
Smith.
our good buddy Corey. He was originally going to play John Dog Smith. The character was kind of written for Corey. Because, you know, Corey was just, he's a really funny guy with a really funny personality. And then by the time we got to shoot, he was MIA. I don't know what had happened to him. So then I asked my buddy Marcus, like, hey man, you want to do this? And he's like, oh, I don't care, whatever, man.
If I'm not mistaken, that happened all on the day that we shot downtown. And originally, I think you had Sundip in mind to play John Dog Smith.
And then I just thought of
Marcus
Marcus.
just happened to be in town that weekend
Yeah.
with a very interesting look.
Yeah, and those, I had those glasses for a while, and he's wearing my clothes again, you know?
Hello?
And why the hell I have clothes like that laying around, you know? I don't really know, but...
Now, did you... Let's talk about...
And Marcus is really funny, too, because, you know, like, Marcus he had never really acted before. He was in one of our short films playing a dead ghost that doesn't do anything. But then, you know, like, he would get really tanked. And then just read his lines. And
I was going to ask, did you give Marcus necessarily the direction of how to talk slower and with the accent, or is that's all him?
No, as soon as I would say action,
That's what came out.
yeah, I mean, like, Marcus would, and I'm like, what?
But I think that's why people love the John Dog Smith character. He's so real. He's just so real. It's not an act.
Yeah.
Although, that's not Marcus. You know, he doesn't really talk like that.
No, not at all. And he is our age also. People-
No one ever believes me that I graduated with him.
Yeah, I was like, no, he's 29. Well, he's our age. We're 29 now. And this is the first day that we shot the mom stuff.
Not necessarily the driving part, but the pulling up.
Yeah, all this scene right here, and then we went and shot the driving stuff years later or something.
This is where we have, not here, but when we're out of the vehicle.
And if you look to the left, we have our buddy Andrew who did the music playing John Dog
He's
Smith.
standing in for John Dog.
Yeah, he's just standing there. And that's our focus. And then when we cut here, we shot Stacy Guts like I have no idea. A year and a half, 2 years after we shot this stuff. I don't know.
I hear it. It's getting closer.
Oh. I still don't know why his voice, why he decided to change it.
See, and this is early Josh because he's wearing his necklace and he doesn't have a tattoo.
Right, I still think this is the week of Kelly's before she left.
Yeah. Because Kelly pops in here in a little bit.
Your mom, she went crazy.
And if you listen to the music during this part, I was like, ooh, creepy. Okay, now right here we need a little bit of hope whenever a Jill shows up. So if you listen to the musical cue, see, it's like, oh, there's hope. But no, there's not, because here comes the mom and she's infected. This is the first thing we shot with the mom. This was her first day shooting. And then we cut to Tiffany actually playing the mom for all the close-ups. Because we didn't have John Dog at that time. This was all shot separate. And then we cut to whenever we had John Dog showed up for a weekend and we shot the rest of his stuff.
Sharp can't do it. That's still his mom. But I think this is pretty good. Look how he reacts to the sound of. Oh. But what I was gonna say is, we didn't really make it a point to show that. I think that's your arm, right?
Yeah,
oh no, that's your hand.
yeah,
Okay,
that's my hand.
is that the mom was bitten? I think if you go back and watch it, you can see her arms wrapped.
But
I
you really
believe
have to pay attention. Yeah.
I believe there was a scene that we never even filmed where they're in the car. And they talk about how she got bit, so thus leading to the death of Stacy and Mark.
And this movie was supposed to be a lot bloodier and a lot gorier than it actually is. I like this.
There's something wrong with your friend.
But yeah, like it was supposed to be like really bloody and gory. But by the time that we got around to shooting some of the stuff, we realized that, man, we can't do this. We can't have like a head explode, and we can't do this and we can't do that, because even though we have like, I guess, a special effects team, Kukui Effects, they were only there for maybe 5 days of shooting or something out of the 3 years. So, and then like even then it was simple stuff like them making blood for us, and like simple stuff like that.
And that look at
Kelly
that,
actually is
tear.
crying here.
Wow.
Yeah, she gave it her all. She was probably crying because she was so happy that
She
was
was
almost
done
done
with filming. It's like, this night is almost over.
But yeah, I mean, so like all of the blood and all this stuff, we kind of we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and basically by the end of the night, we just shot what we could. Yeah, and I don't know. To me, it was supposed to be almost a gorehound movie, I guess, as were most of like the '80s movies. Well, most of the '80s horror movies, anyway. And here we have Josh crawling around, and then Josh turns into me, sitting down right there. So yeah. And this was actually like kind of a mean joke played on Josh, because we were supposed to shoot this with him, and he kept coming up with excuses on not to show up. So I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll figure out your scream. And yeah, it's just
Awesome. That was a great night. That's also the day after Thanksgiving, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I'm not entirely sure, but made fake dummies.
see, and like all of Kate's stuff. Oh, that was Kate, by the way. All of Kate's stuff is shot separate from.
Oh, the rest of us talking. That's right.
Yeah. Because we just kind of had you and BJ say a bunch of lines, and then tried to edit them together, and then whatever we figured out that we needed, I just went and shot with Kate. Oh, with
How am I supposed to find your dad?
Rebecca.
Way out here in the middle of
So,
nowhere.
so that if you're thinking to yourself, some of these lines don't flow correctly, and yeah,
Just watch the movie.
just enjoy. Just sit back and.
And this is this is
Strap
somebody
in
in
for
the back seat with a flashlight
Is
trying
that
to do.
BJ? I believe that's BJ. Or it's either BJ
It'd
or
be
Drew.
BJ, yeah, it was a BJ. And then again, that whole thing was shot poor man's process with Andrew actually jumping up and down on the back of his Tahoe, trying to make it look like it's moving.
And here is our big money scene. I mean,
Was this the first day of shooting?
no,
second day.
The second time we
Yeah, I mean it was. Yeah, it's the second time that we shot
probably weren't prepared for it, but we kind of were
Not at
forced
all.
into.
because we got I got permission to shut down the street. That was shot completely like a year and a half ago or something. But yeah, like I went to city council, pleaded my case. They gave me 6 hours that I could shut down the street for 2 blocks of the street, and I had to postpone it twice.
Well, I think
And-
one time it rained, and one time we
yeah,
just
yeah.
weren't ready.
Yeah,
And the third time was the last time they were going to let us have it.
yeah. And this was fun too because we had like over 100 people out there, and
We just want to thank all our extras, by the way.
yeah, who sadly don't get listed at the end of the movie, but maybe for the special edition DVD, maybe you will find it in there. But yeah, but like all this stuff was shot in, well, not this. This was actually a stolen shot where we just went downtown and shot it really quick and
Well,
then stuck
the
it in
streets
there
were closed down. They just happened to be closed down because they were
because
doing
they're doing
construction.
construction. Yeah.
So,
And
why?
then this was shot, I don't know, sometime with Sundip actually playing John Dog Smith.
This is once again the week before Kelly left.
Yeah. And that's original stuff. But yeah, I mean, we had
Where
to.
could you focus that camera anywhere else? I love that shot.
Oh, and then in the cut after this, you'll see me on the hood of the car. You'll see Sundip running by, and if you look in the very back left, you'll see our buddy James back there. Oh no, he's actually on the right there. And we had to throw in our Will Hell scream. And this is a scene that like I really like that Drew scored. Like just like the music, and
Go with Hector.
I don't know, just like this whole scene is like really cool.
Just stay alive.
It like really worked
Don't leave me
to
again.
me. Was this her last day of shooting?
It's one of them. It might actually be.
Sorry, but
Cop showed up for this as well.
I have to put a stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't want to know why someone had a bat and a tire
Tire
iron.
iron, yeah. Walking around in the streets in the middle of the night.
Hector.
But I mean, it just so happened that we were out there, and yeah, they're the only 3 out there in the middle of the night.
And
It's all sound effects, people.
do we want to point out that the reason Jill and Sharp didn't kiss is because Sharp thinks she still has a boyfriend, and he's being
Sure, bro.
the ultimate nice guy.
And this was an idea that I had. I don't know if I told you about
You
the
told me
idea
you
while-
dreamt about it.
Yeah. So all we did was we mounted the camera to the trunk of my car, had Tiffany drive the car, and that was actually me that just fell back there in the white shirt. Here's my brother. The first guy's our buddy Catitude, and here's Sundip right here. Cause yeah, I had a dream about
Kick those
this-
legs.
I had a dream about this scene, and I was like, man, like let's shoot it. So we actually went out there, and the streets were dead, so we got to do this.
Right in front of the Beagle post office.
Yeah.
Guerrilla filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
No permission.
And then the cops came out after we were done here.
I just asked if we needed any help.
Yeah.
We didn't even get in trouble that time.
I think we should go this
And this was something that you didn't know that we had shot. We just kind of like shot it one day and stuck it in there. And
Right.
it was supposed to be the introduction of Jill's now ex-boyfriend, Patrick. But there's a deleted scene in the special features that you'll see where we actually get to see Patrick and we get to see how douchey he really is. And then this is stuff we shot one day because Marcus was down and we needed to show where he actually went.
And you got access to a building across the street.
Yeah, like I think a week before, and we just we got the keys, kind of went up there, walked around at night to see what we could do, and shot it. And here we go on the top of Country Furniture, which is a furniture store owned by Andrew Julich.
A lot of things in this movie just came together.
Yeah. That's real lightning I shot, by the way, outside of my house. Yeah, you see he's calling somebody, but who's he calling? We don't know because we haven't really seen him. And yeah, I know it doesn't work that well, but still. Because I don't know. I mean, there's just some shit that you can't worry about, you know? I mean...
Because, like, here we go. Other random people show up.
Yeah, and they're like, well, how did they get there? I'm like, well, you know, use your imagination.
Why
They're
John
there.
Dog said, take these two people. But
Yeah.
So, we have the girl, right? Is that what she's credited as?
I think she's credited as Patrick's new girl.
Patrick's new girl.
Yeah.
Which is Kelly's sister.
Kelly's sister, Caroline.
And there we have the original Jill's sister.
Over there to the far right in the back. Originally, she was also play Cameron, Jill's sister, and we changed her name to Tammy in an overdub because this was the only day that she shot. She showed up a couple days before, or you know, like before this, to shoot some stuff, but basically it had to be all cut out. And since she was only in this scene, we just kind of made something up and just
Made it happen.
yeah. And that's the reason why we got that piece of wood was because they had tore down our old science building in Skidmore where we went to school, and then we had, I think you had said something about
I said
like,
maybe you should go grab some of the pieces and put it in the film.
so that we could talk about it during
The commentary.
So
That does sound like me.
yeah, so that's why that piece of wood was there.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. You waited
Yeah.
till the commentary to tell me.
yeah. And I mean, he never uses the damn thing. He just kind of carries it around. But yeah, Sundip was like really instrumental in lighting this scene. I don't know if it's lit well or not, but I like it.
Right.
And because I mean, I had like,
We had a whole DVD
floor.
feature dedicated
Oh
to his
yeah,
lighting.
yeah. And we had like a whole floor to shoot in because this was an abandoned house basically on top of Country Furniture that was really decrepit and old. And I mean, we had been going up there since junior high, and whenever it came time to find a location, I was like, dude, let's use that. And I try to keep things interesting, you know. I wanted to show that you know, like the creepy lighting and all this stuff, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I just kept telling Sundip, well, move the lights here, move the lights there. And Sundip would be like, okay, well, how about if I put them here and do this and that? I'm like, okay, that looks awesome. Let's shoot it. Ready? Action.
Which, once again, it's later on in filmmaking. We just started keeping things simple.
And this was a really hard day, too, because all of these actors that you see were all here that day. And
one of the times I wasn't there to film.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't need to be there, but it was filmed on a Friday night,
Yeah.
which I still worked this following Saturday in San Antonio, so I couldn't be there.
Yeah. And, like, I think we might have had 20 people up there. You know, there's a lot of people.
And it can get hot or it can get cold up there depending on the time of year.
Yeah. And like, some of the actors brought their friends to come watch, too, which I didn't have a problem with. You know, like, that's cool. You know, you're making a movie. Like, your friends can come. But it's whenever they started getting drunk, I think, because they were up there drinking, you know, like hiding in the corners and stuff, and then they started getting drunk and rowdy and loud, and that's whenever, you know, I had to yell a little bit. But and this was me
that
on the
actual
little
dripping sounds? I mean, was that?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was not added. And this whole part with Jill, we lit with a dying flashlight and one of those car reflectors that you put on your windshield. Yeah, I know. That you put on your windshield to reflect the sun. Because me and Sundip went up there to shoot her stuff. Like, I think that was her last day of shooting. Was
Oh, you
that
had to go
night.
back? Wow.
Yeah, and the electricity didn't work up there. So I was like, man, what are we going to do? I was like, you know what? Give me that flashlight. Let's get that reflector. And we shot all of that stuff with that. And that's why it was like so dark.
I still wish we had put a subtitle, maybe, I don't know, packaging plan or something. I've had some people tell me that they could tell it's the same location.
Oh, really? Well, nobody's told me, so I refuse to believe.
But I mean,
Because
there was already renovations being taken place, so to me it looks different enough, but I guess
Because like this, all this is on top of country
And
furniture.
that's-
Both scenes.
That's my eye, correct? Still,
That is your eye.
I'm Patrick.
I thought you were his girl, but whatever.
Oh well, dude, I do have lovely eyelashes.
And I forgot what her name was that was here during shooting, because I think this was a separate day. No, never mind, because we only had Patrick for one day.
And the sword comes into play. Oh, it's already come into play earlier.
Yeah, and that kid that fell, we had just told him like, hey, kind of fall, and kind of fall, and just make it look like your head was cut off, and he just. I'm glad that I was recording because I think it was a practice, and he just ate it, and then I just like was quiet because I was in shock, and yeah, and then afterwards I asked him, I was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, yeah. You want me to do it again?" I was like, "No, we're good," because I was really afraid he hurt himself. Oh, and this we got a face full of
everything.
Yeah,
Everything.
whatever we could find on the floor, we kind of just threw it on you.
Yeah, that was a long night for me too. Cause I went back to San Antonio. I didn't sleep that night. Went back to San Antonio. Got there about 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, some outside drama. But
Oh, and here we have Randy again. I forgot to mention who Randy was earlier.
oh right,
But
zombie
this
on
year-
the street.
Yeah, this year's Randy, and he kept wanting to know when we were gonna kill him. He's like, "Yeah, I'm ready whenever you want to kill me. Whenever you want to kill me." And cut to like 2 years later, we're like, "Fine, Randy, you ready to die?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah." That was an accident actually when he broke the wall.
I really crashed into that wall. That's not Hollywood magic there.
See, and like all these like effects, all these gore effects, really cheaply done, but we didn't really have any other way to do it. So, I mean, we did it however it needed to get done. So,
Once again, I think the style of the movie lends itself to the cheapness, and I don't think it hurts it at all.
see, and here you go again where I was lighting with a dying flashlight, and that's why it's kind of hard to see, but again, I mean,
No, man, you
that's where the
wanted
cookie crumbles.
no, you wanted the you didn't want silvers and blues. You wanted black, and
That was actually
It's a horror movie.
That's actually where Scum came about. Because I got tired of watching what the hell's that movie? Underworld.
Underworld.
The Underworld movies, where everything was silver and shiny whenever it's supposed to be night. And I was like, man, why don't people just make movies where the night is dark? Where like you're watching a movie and you can barely see anything because it's pitch black. And nobody was really doing that. So whenever I got the idea for Scum, which kind of like made me, which was kind of, I don't know how you say it, inspired by the Underworld movies, because I wanted to make a really dark horror movie, and then I got the idea for Scum. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make Scum really black and dark, and like my blacks are gonna be black, and so I credit Underworld, the Underworld franchise.
thank you, Kate Beckinsale.
Because I hate those movies. I hate those movies of Van Helsing. I hate all that crap. But yeah, that's our rubber hand. See, and it's like we didn't have a color corrector. We didn't have a sound guy.
Yeah, dude,
I did everything, and that's just the way it goes.
Make no apologies for it. Like I said, the type of movie this is lends itself to these things, and I think it enhances what we made. And I wish we had thrown more blood on Kelly.
You were the one that actually threw that cup of blood on her, right?
And yeah, it was about time. It's about time she got dirty. And that was it once again.
No, you know what? This was the last day of shooting.
Was this the last thing we did with her?
Yeah, because it's like she was so happy that finally at the end of the movie she could finally get dirty. So, but then again, I could be wrong. Who knows?
Let's talk about the headshots.
The headshots, we went and just shot them outside of a window at the house that I was living at.
And after 12 hours of experimenting, we came away with three different headshots. Three different headshots.
Well, there was 4, but one didn't work. So we actually came away with 3 that are in the movie.
We used an air compressor and I guess training dummy heads. Or...
Yeah. They were actually cosmetology practice heads. I forgot what they're called. But, yeah. And then here we go, and
And lightning reappears.
Yes. Well, it's scattered about where you can hear it.
Oh,
and other things. And that's where we actually finally get to see the dad in cheap zombie prosthetics.
No, we needed to
Now,
change it up. I mean, he's the villain of the movie.
Now the hardest part about shooting this stuff, because like I actually played the dad in the makeup, and was shooting it, trying to direct it at the same time, like doing stuff like that. That's why most of the time, gotta love reverse.
I love our reverse
photography.
photography. I wish we'd have done more of it.
Yeah.
We should have overused it.
And that was you actually diving into the
Yeah, I mean,
into all the cylinders.
I'm down for all that, you know.
And then getting pulled and
Getting pulled, drug on the floor, throwing myself. Yes, our Van Damme shot. And throw myself into the wall. I'm cool with all that. I mean, I always wanted to be a professional wrestler, so
and
why
then,
not?
And whenever we were shooting this, it was usually like I think all this was shot me, you, and
Derek.
Tiffany. Oh yeah, and Derek. And Derek came out a couple
He
times.
was our lightning man, and
Catitude, yeah. Oh, Catitude did some of the lightning earlier, and this is all Derek doing lightning, right?
right. That's right, because there was that one scene where I got lifted up by the
The tentacle, and that
tentacle,
was
and we had to use we had other people helping out, lift me up.
yeah.
Don't you remember?
And I've heard a comment that we never saw Sharp be the tough guy, and I don't know. I guess I never thought about it. That I guess because this wasn't actually in the script, so it was never written.
No.
scene.
No. All this stuff you made up.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I could go back, and I don't know. Should Sharp be the tough guy? I mean, he's just lost his mom, his best friend.
It just hasn't sunk in yet.
Right. So I'm thinking the sequel, you know.
Yeah, that's when you put on your red bandana.
Right. And I figure, you know, I'm already gonna pitch the idea, but you know, this is like, you know, Jill and Sharp are so close to, but he pushes her away, right? Because he doesn't want her to die either, right? You know. And I mean, I don't really know. Just
See, and like anytime that I'm in the frame, the camera's on a tripod. Because I'm also the cameraman.
the
So.
camera gets steady all of a sudden.
And there's our cottage cheese. And here I
Disgust.
vomit the rotted ice cream that turns into cottage cheese when it cuts. And we had no idea how we were going to end the movie, but we kind of just came up with this, let's bang a dummy head around and do silhouettes. And
I think the silhouettes really worked.
yeah. I think the silhouettes will work more than the dummy head with
No,
long
but
hair.
I think I'm glad we kept the dummy head in, and that's where I almost stabbed Derek in his hand, I believe.
Yeah. And this was shot in my garage. And there's the dummy head. And there's my face. See? Oh, the magic of editing. Oh. Yeah, and look at how dirty his shirt is there. And it's funny because we actually showed the cleaners in the shot where you're running down the street. The cleaners that actually had to clean.
That shirt.
Yeah, and like our friend's mom owns that cleaners, and she told me later on, well, actually a few weeks ago, that she was so pissed off whenever I'd bring in the clothes because they had so much shit on it.
Wow. She wasn't happy that she got to help with the movie. Man.
See, and then now you look at his shirt. This was, I don't know when this was shot. but
Oh.
yeah.
But it's so far away. I could be dirty.
And it's like, you know, actually, like if we actually gave a damn about continuity. Oh, look, there you are. It's a
Hey,
zombie.
that's me. I'm looking at myself. No, come on. How can that be? How can I see myself?
There you are again in
Look at my-
members only jacket.
Weekend at Bernie's, man.
And like if we gave a damn about continuity,
Continuity.
continuity. There you go.
It looks like, yeah.
Yeah. Then like we would have mapped all this stuff out.
Well, I mean,
you know?
you're not. It's not that we don't care about it. It's just that. Once
that-
again, it was just.
yeah. Oh, and here we have Andrew Julig, the music guy, and
Still,
Wesson,
uh,
I want to hurry and get your ass in here.
so whenever
a sniper shot. That's why it's not.
whenever Corey couldn't play John Dog Smith,
You tried to create.
I tried to get him in as Wesson because Wesson wasn't really in the script. He was just mentioned as kind of an off joke.
Some bitch, Charlie.
But then I decided, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and put him in the movie.
Look at
And,
you when I did.
and yet again, Corey was MIA when it came time to shoot. So I asked Andrew if he wanted to do it. And the same day that we shot this, I bought his costume at Goodwill.
Friends.
Even though, like, some of his costume is his own. And people ask me, is he smoking a rolled up cigarette? Is he smoking a joint? In real life, it's a rolled up cigarette, but in the movie, it's supposed to be a joint because I thought it was funny. You know, it's Wesson. He's he's like the dude. You know?
Probably why I have that look of concern in my eye. I'm worried about being in there.
And this scene is actually 2 different shots. It cuts across the road because we couldn't get the cigarette to land where we wanted it to. So I just split the scene in half, had him drive, drop the cigarette. And if you actually played in slow-mo, you could see it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Did we slow down the? Did we slow down the credits? I remember at the set to the screen, and everybody was like, "They went by so fast," and I was like,
Yeah. Well. But yeah, here you have all the see. Like, I didn't really.
Did we actually thank Sundip, or we just credit him as a producer?
We
Probably should have thanked him. I mean, so thank you, Sundip, because man.
Yeah, because you came out and you did a shitload of work.
There's my
for
stepdad,
nothing.
Juan Casares, wanted to get a thank you on that because we used his air compressor, and we had to cut a pipe that we inserted into the fake arm and leg. Throw out a shout out to Rudy, Papa Bear.
The Alamo Draft House for
not
giving a
promoting
damn
our flick.
about our movie. Usually, you know, don't get me wrong, I love the Alamo Draft House, but
They kind of turned us off a little bit.
us. It's cool.
So man, it's kind of come to an end.
Yeah.
Brandon Maldonado wishes to thank the fam, the peeps, and George. They're out there, Pinaflor, because that guy, ever since he's seen the first trailer, he has quoted the movie constantly. So I want to thank you, George.
Yeah. And the music that's playing here is actually throwaway music that Andrew created one day.
Look at you, look at you, pimping yourself.
I have to, you know.
You did do a lot of work.
A lot of work, man. And Access Granted is actually Sundip and Pete's company, and Cinemachina Studios is ours. We're actually in the newly minted, I guess, Cinemachina Studios layer, where we're recording the commentary. You guys have a good night.
Deuces.